All right, we're live. 2018. So I've got questions, health and fitness. I've had loads this week. Obviously, people come at you, friends ask you, Instagram, whatever. So I want to run through them here. As ever, if you normally ask me a simple question, I don't give you the simplest of answers. But let's go with it. First question from a lady here. She's asking, how do I grow my legs? Now, the question normally comes from me is, what the hell are you doing at the moment? Most people, they're not even going to the gym. You ain't going to grow nothing without consistency and patience. So for this lady, because obviously I know a lot of people asking me these questions, it's about, am I consistent? So the first thing is you've got to get to the gym. So the way to look at it is, I want to grow my legs, Ben. All right, great. If we sit here next January, how many sessions have you done? If you haven't done 100, 150 or something like that, you're going to struggle. Now, it's a lot more once you get into it as far as the legs go, and it's got lots of questions to get through, but you've got to get the whole muscle. That's the next part. So if you look at your legs, I want big thighs, for example. Obviously I dance samba, lots of the girls want bigger thighs. Well, if you look at the thigh muscle, there's 4 parts to it. So the question is, in the gym, am I working all 4 of those parts? If you're not, then we need to try and get around that, and I'll get some videos up soon about how to get onto that. So short story, how do you grow your legs? Consistency in the gym, and make sure you hit the whole thing. Next question. Is a keto diet good? These questions annoy me because everybody wants to get on a bandwagon and get attention and go from there. The reality is it can be very good for some people. The reality is it can be very disastrous for other people. I'm a big fan of people making a move, doing something. So is there any harm in trying something? No, but this savior that people put down as keto, for a lot of people, just doesn't work. So the reality of, if you understand how body chemistries work, different people are different. So maybe a quarter of people are quite suited to a very low carb, higher protein approach, but then the rest might do disastrously on it. So is the keto diet good? Yes and no. Depends on you. Is there any harm in trying it? No. Where I like to use it and would use it is in a short-term measure. There's a lot of power in doing certain protocols for a short term. And if I work with somebody, it's no set plan. It's called an evolving plan. We might do something for 1 or 2 weeks. We might then change it. But most of my emphasis is doing it on the idea that we want to try and change you up here as much as we want to change them in the body. So that's one thing here. Hold up here. Sorry. Next question. I've had lots of people come, Ben, is this exercise routine good? Is this good? And then they're trying to, show me some routine on that. You've got to ask again, who's asking the question? Most people are showing me that because they're starting it brand new. In that case, it's good, because the reality is there's no plan you should follow for 12 months. The reality is if you've probably just picked out a new plan, you've probably not been that consistent anyway. So just get going, get in there and get doing it. And then once you're more consistent, you can talk about if that's a good plan or not. And obviously in a general question like that, I need to see more details. So, but I've seen like 2, 3, 4 different plans sent to me, and there's nothing to them. They're good or they're bad. Are you going to stick to them? And then how do we go to the next stage? That's the question. So if you've got a plan that you're umming and erring about, just do it and then review it in a few weeks' time about whether that's still the ideal plan. But if you're fresh back to exercise, anything you do is going to get you gains pretty much. If you're coming to me and you've been like, Ben, I've been training 5 times a week for a year. Well, it's a very different conversation to I've done 3 sessions over the last, since September. So it's another area to consider. How do I improve my flexibility? So there's a couple points on this. What do you mean by flexibility? Because flexibility is very different depending on what I'm talking about. Are you trying to do the splits because you're a dancer? Have you got back pain and you're trying to sort out your back pain? Can you not reach down to the floor to pick up a box? What do we mean by flexibility? So in any element of fitness, I'd always encourage you to get a fitness measure. So if I'm talking about flexibility, then you need to get some sort of measure. So if it was in the squatting out of the floor example, we'll just go and squat down and measure what depth you can get to. If it's doing the splits, we'll give it a go and see how you do it. So when you've got a measure, then it's about how do I improve my flexibility. Now, if you're just talking overall flexible because you feel stiff, then the best thing you can do is an active warm-up routine. An active warm-up routine, you can find this on my website. It's when you're doing sort of movements every morning. That would be the first stage I would do. I do that every morning, every evening, and every time before you exercise. That will increase your general overall flexibility. Thereon in, you need to start a stretching program. And if you're not consistent with stretching, you're going to really struggle. And what you've got to understand also is that modern life is putting you into a ball, so that, you know, you sit crunch. Right now I'm sit crunched, you drive crunched. As a result, you end up being in this crunch thing. So you need to do in a flexibility routine stuff to undo that. The stomach stretch, the front side, all the way down to here. So the way to be doing that is obviously consistent stretching, but then looking at what's going on here. So as far as actually getting the stretch going, so just to sum up where we got to here is, one, measure what you're going to stretch. What do you mean by stretching? 2, do an active routine every day. 3, if I am going to then do specific stretches, you need to use PNF type stretches. So what that means is you need to either tense the muscle that you are stretching. So if you're doing a hamstring stretch, you need to pull your leg into the ground so that the hamstring is tensed up. Or you need to do the opposite. You need to tense up the thigh muscle. So you're stretching the hamstring, but try and lift your leg up so your thigh works. This will relax the nervous system, and that will allow you to get flexibility. But flexibility in a traditional stretch, you know, just holding it 20 seconds, it doesn't give you great gains. You need to use something that outwits the nervous system to really push things on. If you are going to use simple stretching, what you need to use is massage techniques, because there's 3 reasons the muscle's stiff. One of them is the pure length of it, but the other one is because of the nervous system, hence you need to outwit the nervous system. The third one is because there's spasms in the muscle, and you've got to get rid of those spasms through massage techniques. That's what a foam roller is, that's what a massage ball is, that's what a masseuse is. So to that question, flexibility, measure it, do some active stretching every day, and then when you start stretching, be aware. You've got to outwit the nervous system, and you've got to look at massage muscle integrity. Next question, where we're at. Similar to the first question, how do I grow a bigger ass, bigger buttocks? Interesting. Like I said, you've got to be consistent with your weights, but when it comes to the bum, what you have to be able to do is get it to work. So a lot of people can do a squat, for example, but burn their thighs. Well, it will work a bit of your bum, but if you're not feeling it at all in the session, you're not feeling it at all after the session, there's a good chance it didn't get worked. So one of the first things is, how do I activate the bum? There's videos, I've got this on the website, but for simple thing is just ask yourself, can I feel it? So, you know, personal trainers have this thing where, oh, this is the magic technique, you've got to stick to it. But the reality is, that magic technique that's perfect might not be working your bum because of the way your joints are aligned, the way the brain is using it. So in that case, we need to do something that gets the bum to work. So single leg stuff would be a good way to wake it up. And then you've got to use your brain. You can't just turn up to the gym and daydream. If I want a muscle to work, I've got to try and focus it and think it in there. So to this lady trying to work a bum, make sure when you're doing a leg session, your bum's working. So if it's not working, then you need to do single leg stuff to wake it up. And behind this, which I can't really explain now, it comes back to your spinal alignment, and it comes back to your thigh tension. So we can sort that out, but it takes time to do it. So to that lady, that's what you'd need to do. What do we got here? How do I get into exercise in the gym? Lots of people have asked me this question. Oh, how do I get in the gym? I love your motivation. You've just got to do it. It's a bit of a rubbish thing to say, but don't sign up for something you particularly hate. So if you hate the gym, don't do it. You know, especially in exercise terms, there's so many things you can do. You know, it could be go for a walk, it could be go for a run, it could be join a class. But if it is the gym, which is a specific question was, you've just got to go, and then don't spend too long. You've got to go to the point where you enjoy it. And that's the key. Where people get confused is they try and follow like routines that, you know, advanced people do who never miss the gym, but you don't enjoy it yet. The first goal for like January, February should be teaching yourself to enjoy exercise again. And the best way to do that is to turn up and leave fairly quickly, literally. So if you went to the gym 15 minutes, literally for 15 minutes, 3 times a week for the next month, you would have started creating a pattern of turning up at the gym. You probably would actually not hate it if you went for 15 minutes. And then that would allow you to then start building from there. It's like the question earlier on about, is this exercise routine good? Only matters if you're going to follow it for a long time. If you're just going to do it for 3 weeks, you can follow any exercise routine. So if you're struggling to get into the gym, that's what I would do. Just turn up. How do you make it easier? Well, turn up with a friend, if you like friends, if you don't know what you're doing. Get somebody to teach you what to do, be that friend who knows what he's doing so you don't feel so scared. Use areas of the gym you're more confident. So I see so many, really winds me up. Trainers will set like a newish person a great training program. It's good exercises, but they have to wander on into the super intimidating part with all the grunting men, and you're like, they're not going to ever follow that because it's intimidating. So we need to just go back to that sort of measure. The reason and the goal for you in the gym for the next month would be to learn to enjoy it or become comfortable with it. It doesn't matter what you do there. So that's how I'd say get into the gym. You just got to start going. Or exercise per se, you've just got to start doing it. But don't go for a half an hour run and kill yourself. Do a 5-minute easy jog if that's what you're up to, or even less if that is the case. Next question. Is Slimming World good? Well, it's like the keto question. Everything can be good or bad. I like the element of Slimming World that you're with other people. They've shown in studies you need somebody else there to help you along. The reality is getting in shape's hard work. So to do it all on your own is difficult. So one of the advantages of Slimming World is there is other people there. One of the advantages of having a coach is there's somebody else there. So that's one of the good things about Slimming World. The diet side of things, it's like what I said earlier on. There's pros and cons to everything. What ultimately gets the results is all that we care about. And for a lot of people, they've got great results on that. A lot of people have got awful results on that. And I've had my own clients who've been to Slimming World. Some said, oh, it was really motivating having other people around. Others said they were totally demotivating people. So to the lady who asked that question, try it. You know what? You know, there's nothing to lose. You know, 1 month, 2 months. You know, I don't think people always ask these questions like they're signing up for life. You know, you don't have to sign up for life. It's like try it for a few days, weeks, whatever. If you don't like it, change it. That's what I think. The key is an evolving plan. Don't get caught up in this, what's this magic plan? Start something and then we bring it on to the next level as we adapt. And then it's quite powerful then. Next question. A few people have asked about how to get a flat stomach. I've done a whole 40-minute lecture on this. If you go on my website, it's on there. If not, just message me. I'll send you the lecture. A 40-minute thing, there's different elements. One, have I got... Let me back this up. When you want a flat stomach, some of it's to do with body fat. If you've got to lose body fat, that's the age-old process, eating less somehow, moving more, and the various, you know, particulars of that. But for most people, they can take probably 1 to 3 inches off their stomach through stomach vacuuming and hollowing techniques. So the way to do that, you need to go watch the lecture. I've got a 10-minute lecture and a 40-minute one. If you wake up the lower stomach and you practice stomach hollowing, which is to do with how tight your stomach muscle is. Because your stomach is very tight, from sitting all day, it's become shortened. It's unable to get flat and go under the rib cage, which gives you that flat stomach look. So you could literally take 1 to 3 inches off your stomach without losing any body fat. But you need to do a little bit of work on the flexibility. So how do you get a flat stomach? Check out the video. It's too long to go into here. Next question. What we got? A couple of people asked me about, from when I competed, you know, when I was down to 4% body fat, how hard it was. I don't think it was as hard as people think it was, but in other ways it was harder than you could imagine. But the reality is where people get caught up is to get to really, really low body fat. You know, I was 4% for stage. You're not doing it in 2 weeks. It takes a heck of a lot of time to get there. And most people who go to these shows, you know, you've seen the photos of fitness models and so forth, they've taken 4 months to get there. And what people don't understand is they start their dieting process at a stage where they're already probably thinner and leaner than most average people. So you'll see them and you go, God, you're looking good. And then they go, yeah, I'm going to compete soon. I've got 2 months of dieting. And you're like, oh, but you look leaner than everyone anyway. And this is the point. It's not about going crazy or mental to get to really low body fat levels, but it's about going slow and steady and starting off very, very early. So when I was, you know, competing, I did 1 week's dieting every month. I did first 10 days, week to 10 days of every month, January, February, March, April, June, and then I did 3 weeks before the show. And I was already starting out much leaner than most people. So if you want to get really lean, obviously if you want to compete on stage, different conversation. But if you want to get very lean, it's patience. That's what nobody sort of has. So did I find it that hard? Yes and no. The thing is I'm good at dieting and I enjoy dieting. So, you know, life's fun when that happens. Most people aren't. But that comes from training your brain, which is what I talked about earlier on about are you evolving your training plan? Not a plan to lose weight, not a plan to get fitter, but a plan to do them at the same time as training your brain. If you do that, man, results are totally different. What other questions have I had here? Let's have a look. Last couple. I've had lots of people ask me questions about my book. You can see there. Obviously, I don't know who knows what I've done or what I've not done. That book's good. I know I'm biased. But the whole point is, if you want to change your body, Yes, there's plans you can follow, but it's all here. It's like, do you want the best plan or the best person who could follow the plan? So there's certain elements, there's nothing wrong with you why you keep struggling, but some of it's knowledge, but a lot of it is just mislearned thinking patterns. And if you get around it, I reckon you need 2 to 5 new thoughts, and it's a different level of results. It just all changes there. For some people, it could be that, oh, I don't need to kill myself exercising. And when they do that, they can be consistent for the first time ever. Other people, it's like, oh, I can have a bit of food, cake, and it's nothing bad about it. Don't need to feel guilty. Then they become moderate. There's different elements that you need, but man, it could be a big difference. So you've got to take at some point, if you want to get good long-term results, to look up here as well as the food and exercise. So obviously I recommend a book. I've done 2 books, got another book on rugby training. This year I hope to get a 3rd one out. Get them. Self-promotion here, isn't it? Last couple questions. It's not really a question, but I get this off everyone. They say, Ben, I need to lose weight. Well, I'm never going to engage in that conversation whether you do or do not. That's your choice. But they're more asking, how the hell do I start help? The best way to start for me, for most people, is just to start with whatever you're prepared to do today, however small or rubbish that might be. So it could be that you're like, well, there's no way I'm stopping eating all this bad food. And I'm like, okay, fine. Are you prepared to eat a little bit of, say, protein before you have that chocolate bar? And then somebody might be like, yeah, okay, I might do that as a deal. And that's your first stage. And as you start nudging, it's very powerful. And very quickly, you can take yourself from a demotivated state to a motivated state by taking a small step. So there's no way you're getting me to go to the gym. Fine. Are you prepared to go for a walk? Yeah, but that's pointless, man. No, just do the walk. And once you've done that a couple of times, then ask yourself, now what am I prepared to do? Well, I don't mind doing, say, a workout outside, but I'm not going to that stupid gym. Fine. Do a gentle workout outside, and you build it and etch it up from there. Then I need to lose weight question. The next question would then be, all right, I've got myself motivated a little bit. And obviously in January, a lot of people are ready to go. If you are ready to go, then I would try and take the other thing. Don't follow your high power willpower. Yes, you're psyched right now, hence the keto question early on. Can I do it? No, the question we're looking for then is, all right, you're psyched now. How are we going to be here in 12 months' time still doing what we got to do? Because motivation's great in January, but it's going to be gone in February, March, April. At some point, your motivation will be gone. So the key thing now would be, if I use a program that trains my brain as well as getting results, then when you do fall off the wagon, you'll be a different person. So what does that mean? Basically, it means, how do I get out of my routine? How do I train myself to be different around food and drink? That's what we're trying to get going. So to do that, it's a different task. So to give an example, if I make you eat at different times of the day, I've got you out of your routine of, oh, I have 3 meals a day and 2 snacks. And then people will be like, I can't miss my meals. I'll lose muscle or I'll die or whatever. If you take that as a protocol, it might take you 2 weeks to say, learn not to eat in the mornings. It's not about the magic of that formula, but you'll be a different person around food within the mornings. And we can take that protocol in different areas. So same with exercise. So how consistent am I really? Some people are very consistent. I see them in the gym all the time. Most people are rubbish. And that's no criticism, but that's just, the statistics of how often they go. You don't go back to what's the best exercise routine. Let's do a HIIT routine. It's like, how do I train myself to enjoy exercise? That's the approach you take. And then in 3 months' time, when you enjoy exercise and you're doing it naturally, then we can talk about harder routines. But that's the key. So if you are motivated this January, I'd have one foot in the door of let's get results, but I'd have the other one focused on how do I train myself for this to become natural. And a lot of the normal stuff, the hard workouts, the hardcore diets, they're fine for when you're motivated. But what gets you the results is, what plan do you follow when you're demotivated? And that's ultimately how I could probably measure your success coming up. If you're a killer guy, girl, when you're on target and motivated, that's great. But what happens when you are now demotivated? Do you just give up, go drinking, go eating, stop the gym? If that's the case, you'll always be stop, start, forwards, back, forwards, back. So if we get the demotivated plan to be like break even or like still progressing but in a rubbish way, that's the real powerful thing. So it's just different skills to learn. So to that person asking the question, how do I do stuff? Edge forward from where you are today if you're not motivated, the smallest possible thing. If you are motivated, then yes, follow some sort of plan. But let's think about, how do I change my behavior around food? Powerful things to do that. Fasting, different types of fasting. I get all my clients assuming they're okay to do with it, to learn not to eat in the morning, to learn not to eat in the day, to learn not to eat in the evening. Not at the same time, obviously, that's just a fast. But they're a different person around food after that. Same with exercise. They learn to train in the morning and enjoy it in the evening? Can they just learn to enjoy it? This is what I'm trying to get my clients to do. And when they do that, I know when I'm disappeared, they've disappeared, as they're not working together, they're a different person around these areas. But it's just understanding it's a different skill set to learn to enjoy something as it is to follow a plan. Anybody can follow anything when they're motivated, but you've got to know how long it's going to take to get results. And for most people, if there's a fat loss goal, most people need 3 months to make if they did 3 months, they can get an absolute amazing change. But that's still quite a long time, For other people, it's 6 months, 12 months. Very few people in fat loss terms are less than 4 weeks. Some are, but you're already pretty lean if that's the case. And if you're trying to build muscle, man, muscle's a slow game. If you're natural, and you're gaining 2-3 kilos a year, you've done amazing. So that's a slow game. And in that case, it's not about, yes, you'll see short-term results, but not week to week. So it's then about how do I keep myself going? The only way to keep yourself going is to train yourself to enjoy it, to naturally do it. So that takes time, and that's a different protocol again. So it's not about, what's the best muscle building plan? It's like, well, why don't we over the next 4 months try 4 different plans, and then we've got different tools up our sleeve for when you're demotivated. And you might also find that different people respond to plans differently. So you might, unbeknown to you, get a real great result on this one plan, which other people didn't get such good results. Because too often we just follow like what the famous people are doing or whatever. Obviously in muscle building terms, you've got Arnold Schwarzenegger's famous 3-day split. You've got the classic 5-day split. They might be the best for you. They might not be the best. In fat loss terms, you've got people who go keto and get great results. You've got vegans who get great results. It doesn't matter who's right or wrong. It's what's best for you. And the best way to do it is to try them. And that's why my plans are very evolving, very changing. But the person at the end, I don't know, are we still running? Somebody phoned during the thing. Anyway, I'm going to leave it up there. So that's most of our questions done. As ever, ask me questions. I'll keep doing these regularly. What we want to do. I've got more videos coming. Check out that Flat Stomach Masterclass. Check out my book. That's it. Oh, there's people messaging me from Brazil. Oi, tudo bem? Soy branco. Obrigado. Anyway, I will chat to you all soon. Cheers.